love scrunchies? I know I love scrunchies. And if you do, you're gonna love today's episode of The Sam Show. We are here on Auntie Tay's YouTube channel, and we are gonna be taking Auntie Tay membership sublimation files that we're gonna sublimate, we're gonna sew, we're gonna put them all together and show them off because they're so cute and there's so many for all your favorite characters. Let's get started. Hey everyone, it's Sam from the Auntie Tay team, and you're watching The Sam Show. Let's go make some fun things. The awesome thing about scrunchies is you can make them out of pretty much any fabric. You can do like a minky or just a regular polyester fabric. As long as it's 100% polyester, these sublimation scrunchies should work great. I'm actually using this poplin fabric that I got from Fabric Direct Wholesale Warehouse. And then these are the scrunchie files. You can print them on either 13 by 19 sublimation paper or 8.5 by 11. Depends on whatever printer you have. But I have an 8.5 by 11, so that's what I'm doing. I am taking the fabric and cutting it down to a little bit more manageable size. I'm doing it at 11 inches so that a piece of sublimation paper will fit on it. And this fabric does not tear, so you're going to have to cut it, but that's fine. Just trim it, and then you're going to want to get a size that's going to fit your design and then pre-press it in your heat press to get any moisture and wrinkles out before you add your sublimation paper. And I do that when my heat press is heating up, once it's a little hot, but it doesn't necessarily need to be all the way up to the temperature. At least I don't anyways. And I just do a quick press of it. Also be sure to using a lint roller to get rid of any fuzzies and parchment paper to protect your surfaces. Once you put your pattern on, try to make sure that it's in the center and use lots of tape. I have found that this helps getting the best design to transfer over, and then at 385 to 400 degrees for about 50 to 60 seconds, I sublimate it. And be very, very careful. Once you have it sublimated, then you just cut it out. Use a sharp pair of fabric scissors. It'll make your life way easier. And this fabric frays a lot, so try not to pull on the edges too much. But then you are just going to put right sides together. Because I am using the 8.5 by 11 files, we're going to have to put together one more seam than you would with the 13 by 19 strip. So I just try to line the pattern up when I pin that, and then you're just going to pin it on that short side and do a straight stitch across that. If you want to do the bunny bow part of it, then you're just going to keep an opening in the center on one side, but then pin the rest. So I just don't put pins there, and then I know not to sew there. So I'm just showing you again where we are sewing on this before we actually sew it, just so it's a little bit easier because sometimes it's hard to tell once it's on the machine. So I did sew the one side of the scrunchie, and then you can go right ahead and actually sew the other side. If you want to pin it, you can. I didn't feel the need to. So sew both of those seams. And then for the bunny bow part, go really slow at the points. Make sure your needle is down before you turn it, and you kind of have to keep this fabric taut so it doesn't bunch up because it likes to do that. It's kind of slippery. A lot of polyester likes to do that. And then you're going to want to trim and put little slits in your bow so that it lays more flat when you turn it right sides out. For the actual scrunchie part, I slowed this part down because it can be a little confusing. I like to move the seams in the middle. I just think it's easier for this part. But then you take that top layer and you roll it in just on itself, just on that top layer of fabric. And then you're going to take that bottom layer and just put it right sides together on top of itself. This looks really tricky, but when you make scrunchies this way, you'll realize how awesome of a way this is. For sewing it, you only want to sew those 2 pieces on the outside to the far right, and make sure none of that middle part gets stuck underneath. I know this isn't the best view, but just make sure you backstitch and you do all your basic sewing stuff, and then just keep going slow, making sure that middle part is tucked in. And once you get to the end, or like an inch from the end, you are going to then pull the middle out. And it helps if you have one hand on the back part, like I'm doing here, and then the other hand pulling the middle. And you'll want to line those outside pieces up again and just keep sewing along that outer edge. Go slow. Make sure you are not getting that middle spot. I know it's going to sound a bit redundant, but you're going to just keep sewing till you get to the edge and then pull the middle out a little bit farther until you get it all the way around. Sometimes with those inner seams, it's a little bit tricky, so just go slow. You don't want to rip any of your stitches. And for when you put the elastic in, it makes this so much easier. So give yourself like probably 1.5 inch gap opening. I made this one kind of close, so it was a little bit harder to flip inside out, but it's fine. Trim all of your threads, and now we'll get to putting the elastic in. So you can either use this elastic cord or the threaded thicker elastic. It doesn't matter. I prefer to do the cord. That's just what I like, and that's what I had a lot of. I measure 8 inches, but I do not cut it. Don't cut it yet. Trust me. Tie a knot around a safety pin, and then the bigger opening, that's like the tube part that goes through the elastic, feed the safety pin through that. Then untie it and hold on to that loose end and find where you marked your elastic, and then once you securely have it in your hand, then you can tie it and cut it. So I just do a knot and I pull it super, super tight, and I do leave a little tail on it. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. And trim off any of the fuzzies. The fabric likes to fray, and I just like to get as many as possible. Now this is where you're going to look for that opening you left when you were sewing, and mine is very small. Leave a little bit bigger opening, and then you just flip it. You flip it inside out and start pulling it. It seems so weird, but it's like magic how easy it comes out. Ta-da! Look at that fun, bright colors. Oh my gosh, I love it. Now with that little bit of opening, you can either glue it or you can just top stitch it. Now we're going to turn that bunny bow inside out. You're going to really want to get in there and make sure those corners are pointed. If you want to press this and iron it, just do it on a really low iron and make sure your surfaces are protected. And you're also going to want to do a top stitch on that. So once you have your bow part stitched up and you have your scrunchie part stitched up, all you have to do is find both of the seams, because I like to cover up the seam with the bow, and you just tie a knot. It's just a regular knot. Pull it tight, and oh my goodness, isn't that the cutest thing ever? I love it. Now let me show you a couple ways to wear it. Okay, you can just wear it on your wrist. I actually love to just wear them and accessorize them on my wrist as a bracelet. Or my go-to as well is a ponytail. The bunny ears on this makes it so much easier. When I do a ponytail, I always have the bunny ears in my hand, and then when I loop it, I make sure it goes on top. And then there you have it. You can mess with your ears a little bit more, but that just, I mean, it makes a ponytail so classy. Now I'm going to do a bun, and I will warn you, I am not the best at doing buns, but I do it really similar that I do for ponytails. So I grab the bunny bow and then I just wrap it around, and I kind of let my hair stick out and do messy things. If there's anything sticking out really bad, I can tuck it in. But that's just like a regular bun. You can put it farther on your head. But honestly, one of my favorite ways to wear it, especially when my hair is curled and looking kind of cute, is I just take a section up top of my hair and just do a little half ponytail with it. I love it. I think it's adorable. It keeps the hair out of my face because when I work on stuff, I cannot stand it, and it pulls it back, but it looks so classy and so cute. And I just, yeah, it's so fun because there's so many different sublimation patterns you can use, and you can add this to any Disney look. And you know, I just had a great time. I hope you guys did too. Please tag Auntie Tay and me, Sam, a Spark of Sam, on any social media. Post in the Auntie Tay Facebook group if you make these. I want to see all the scrunchies. See you next time, guys.